A fence around the San Marcos Park? The city is testing out new ways to limit river traffic, but that's not the only big change coming this summer.
Local businesses, college students, and golf? Reporter Jaden Lockett addresses the sport and tells the whole story coming up.
Texas State athletics might be moving on up. We'll explain.
Wait, did you miss a free concert last weekend? Where was it? It was everywhere.
We can't wait to join this tradition. You'll learn more about it coming up.
Hi, and welcome to this summer edition of Bobcat Update. I'm Zane Vanover.
And I'm Faith Lewis. We're glad you can join us.
You probably know that the rivers are hot spots around central Texas. There's a long tradition of people floating down the Comal, the San Marcos, and the Guadalupe River.
But there's a new law that could have a big impact on how people enjoy the river. Reporter Adam Weber taps this story for us.
You may have seen the fences put up around parks in San Marcos. This is a part of the city's recent efforts to enforce the ban on single-use containers, also known as the can ban.
The ban has been in place for a little over a year, but the city has stepped up this summer due to an increase in trash in the river.
Yeah, our big one is going to be permit or rule enforcements here at the city. We have a bunch of different city ordinances, really all for protecting the river, making sure everyone's staying safe. Use of charcoal grills is prohibited. We had a lot of people dumping that in the river. We are keeping glass and single-use plastics out of the river, making sure that we're not polluting things, and then really making sure that people stay out of our protected wildlife zones. The fencing is really around the Kirby Lane area, like you said. That's mainly to really promote the flow of the river. Since we are in a drought, we're trying to keep people out of the headwaters, which that area is called. The more people that are there, the more that habitat is disturbed, the less flow the river will get. Just this summer, we collect an average of 6 bags a day of trash from the river. That's from the river alone, and then another 6 from the parks. So there's definitely a very strong movement toward cleaning up the river, and I think a lot of volunteer programs are doing that as well throughout the week. But us alone, we have about 30 large bags of cans from the river just since, I think, May 31st is when we started collecting. So that's cans alone. So trash, recycle, everything is way more than that, but we are really, making big steps here. I would say if someone approaches you and, maybe you're not informed about the rules, treat them kindly. They're always trying to help the river, help you. No one wants anyone to get fined here. That's not the point of this. We're just trying to make sure that San Marcos and the river are here to stay.
In fact, some residents are still unaware of the effects that the ban will have going forward.
No, I haven't heard anything about walls being built. I guess I just don't know about that. I mean, I'm all for keeping the river clean, but yeah.
Thanks to the efforts of the conservation crew as well as San Marcos residents, we can rest easy this summer knowing that we are the only things floating down the river. With Bobcat Update, I'm Adam Weber.
The 89th Texas legislature wrapped up their session the first week in June. Sunday was the deadline for Governor Greg Abbott to sign any bills they passed into laws.
Yeah, and there were a bunch of them. Our reporter, Jack Lyside, joins us with a look at some of the top issues that did or didn't get approved by the governor. Jack?
Thanks, guys. Almost 2,000 bills got sent to the governor this legislative session. He can choose to sign them into law, veto them so they don't become law, or let them become law without his signature. He ended up signing more than 1,100 of them into law by Sunday, but he also had a high-profile veto and called a special session to start next month. The governor vetoed Senate Bill 3, which was one of the top issues for Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick in the state Senate. It would have outlawed many popular products made from cannabis or hemp, including THC and Delta-8. Patrick argued these products were a danger to kids. Many supporters, including veteran groups, argued that the product had medicinal value. Governor Abbott hasn't ruled out some restriction on these products. He just wants the bill revised during the special session in July. The governor said the Texas law would ban products which were approved by the U.S. Congress in 2018. It would never hold up in court the way it's written now. And here's a quick look at some other issues lawmakers passed that the governor signed into law, including his signature issue, school vouchers. Families will get up to $9,000 to spend on private tuition. But another law will set aside about $4 billion to give raises to teachers and staff in public schools. There are some changes coming to higher education as well. A state board will now be able to review the curriculum of state universities like Texas State. They'll also be able to select some members of faculty senates and have a say in hiring university presidents and provosts. Outside of education, there is now an exemption for emergency abortions if a doctor decides it's necessary for the health or life of the woman. But there are also restrictions on any government employee helping a woman get an abortion in Texas or another state. Finally, Texans will have a chance to vote on a few issues, including providing $1 billion a year for the next 20 years to try to increase the water supply in Texas, a cut to property taxes, and a change in who can pay bail when they're arrested. That law would eliminate bail for people charged with most violent crimes. Critics say that upends the idea of people being presumed innocent. Again, those are just a few of the many bills Governor Abbott chose to sign into law.
Jack, you mentioned a special session. How can you tell us about that?
Sure. The Texas Tribune reports that special session will start July 21st, and there are 6 items on the governor's emergency list. The first is that the disagreement over THC products. Others focus on human trafficking, security for judges, and regulating water wells, and he can still add more items.
Thanks, Jack.
You may know there's a new Topgolf location under construction in New Braunfels. That's a national chain of driving ranges, and it should open late this year. But that got us thinking, what are some local golf spots that have been around for a while, places you can enjoy right now? Our reporter, Jaden Lockett, has a couple of local businesses teed up.
Home to Texas State University and all its students, the city of San Marcos has seen not only a growth in popularity and businesses, but a growth in varying interests, one becoming very common. On the east side of San Marcos, there's a locally owned golf range called Bobcat Range.
That's a good place to go and spend some time. It's BYOB, bring your own beer. So good golfers come here to hit balls, and then you got the ones that ain't never hit a ball, but they, it mixed. It's mixed pretty good. They have fun.
Although established over 20 years ago, Bobcat Range keeps drawing in casual and competitive golfers every day.
We've had more in this year than we ever had as far as people.
While driving ranges like Bobcat Range focus mostly on the long ball, places like Putt Pub focus more on short ball in the form of the classic mini golf.
I would say we're very unique. I think normally when you look at mini golf, you see more of a professional setting, or you don't see as many obstacles like we have. We try and go outside of what mini golf should be, the standards.
Closer to campus, Putt Pub has seen a rise in golfers who are looking for a different yet popular experience.
We also tie in Texas State, and so I think we make it unique for the community by doing Texas State stuff and having cool little things around, but then also just unique in general. In my own words, I would say it's basically an adult playground. You have all these different types of games, mini golf, a full bar. It's kid friendly, but then also you can come out with all your girlfriends or guy friends and just have a good time. Everything's a good vibe. Every time I talk to people and they come up to the bar, I ask them, how's it going? And it's always great vibes. There's nothing, no bad stuff here.
Whether you need to let off some steam at the driving range or have fun under the lights of Putt Pub, San Marcos is the place for you. I'm Jaden Lockett, and this has been Bobcat Update.
We have another big sports story we're working on coming up a little later. The rumors are getting louder and coming from more authoritative sources about Texas State switching from the Sun Belt to a major athletics conference. Jackson Cruz and Jack Lysite are working on that for us.
KTSW Student Radio has been spinning music and talking news and sports for more than 30 years, but I found out that they're getting their message out in a bunch of ways now, especially in social media.
From Texas State's Trinity Hall, KTSW 89.9 covers local news involving things happening on campus. When it comes to traditional news, social media is not in the conversation.
I started as a social media content contributor last spring, and in that position, it was a volunteer position. I sort of just filmed a lot of videos, went out and got a lot of the content, so that's what led me into this leadership position now. I started in the spring of 2025, so basically December of last year. I love my current position. I think it's really fun. It does get a little hectic, just kind of being on top of things, but it's a lot of fun and it's really creative, which I like to express myself in that way. When I come to the station, I do a lot of management things, so that's a lot of updating, like our to-do list, our content calendar, messaging, my team. I sort of get things scheduled for what kind of content we're going to be creating and catching up with them, making sure everybody is up to date. I think just jumping into this position makes me really proud because I initially wasn't going to go for it. I was going to stay as a contributor, but Caitlin pushed me and I took on the role just as a sophomore, which I think was pretty impressive. We use Instagram mainly, and then I'm also like exploring into Facebook and then our LinkedIn. We want to get more involved on that. I base it off of our target audience, which is in the analytics. I check the analytics pretty frequently, and Instagram is a lot of like short-term videos, and then Facebook is more towards like promotional graphics, and that kind of reaches more outside of Texas State University and like San Marcos residents.
I think in these days, social media is very important. That's like our main way of communicating with people. Just like Texas State, but also people like around the world. That's how we get people, like we put up flyers for like our shows and stuff, but mostly people are seeing that on social media. And I think that goes for anyone in like the music industry right now. A lot of it is online. That's how I find a majority of shows that I'm going to, or like sometimes even bands I'll find through Instagram, which is crazy. But I think it also just like provides another space for community.
I think the best advice I could give is to put yourself out there. If you find interest in something, you have to go ahead and do it. And a lot of people say don't let others affect what you do, and it's so true. You just have to focus on what you're passionate about, what you get excited about, and forget that anybody else exists.
And right next door to KTSW is the University Star, where student journalists are working even during the summer.
Reporter Raul Soriano introduces to a couple of editors working to keep us all informed.
Since 1911, the University Star has kept Texas State Bobcats up to date with current events and community updates.
Have you ever wondered what production day looks like here at the University Star? Me too. Come on in. Let's take a look.
The University Star puts together a fresh issue every Monday, which has been a tradition for years. Keeping Bobcats informed is no small task. It takes a passionate team working under pressure. From editing and fact-checking to designing layouts and choosing headlines, there are countless details that go into creating a single edition. Carson Rogers, Creative Services Director of the Star, mentions how sometimes things don't go as planned and you need to learn how to manage last minute.
Sometimes, like, a lot of times you'll just be able to turn something in and it'll be fine, but every now and then here you'll get, like, denied or you won't always be able to go through. So being able to roll with the punches and just kind of, like, go with what you got, it's taught me a lot. I like being able to play with or mess with people and, like, see their frustration. So being able to see how other people do it and, like, getting the hang of that and being the one to cause that confusion is very fun.
We also spoke with Andrew Benson-Vengo, the opinion editor of The Star, and he mentions how rewarding the job is and how having a voice as a student is important.
I think I would say approach your work with a high level of passion. All of us here, we have so much of a desire to report the news, to cover it, and to inform the public. And bringing that energy and passion into your work really shows. You can tell when an article is written in a way that isn't, or where the writer isn't necessarily interested in what they're writing. So I really recommend approaching everything with a degree of passion and respect every time that you cover it.
Make Music Day is a global event that started in France in 1982. founded by the Minister of Culture, Jack Lang. The idea is simple. Anyone, anywhere can make music.
From front porches to public parks, San Marcos turned up the volume with live performances and a spontaneous jam sessions this Saturday. Here's what we found. Lights, bubbles, and music is what filled the streets of San Marcos last Saturday for the worldwide Make Music Day celebration. Josh Gomez, a local DJ, shares why Make Music Day is important to him.
This is great because I'm a dad, so it's really nice to be able to play music that families can enjoy. And since it's downtown San Marcos, it's really nice to be able to play something that's not the nightclub scene till 2, 3 in the morning, which is still fun, but this is really cool for the families. And I like being able to do events like that. Not only Make Music Day, we have music all around the town. We also have vendors out here, which is nice because we have local businesses and the farmers market. So being able to have so many things going on, there's something for everyone here.
Switching up the music scene, we ask Ray Mansara, a local musician, why Make Music Day is important to him and what advice he has for aspiring musicians like him.
I'm a musician, so I love playing, but like more than that, it's just like to promote culture and arts. I think it's important, to give musicians and whatever like artists, like in the artist industry, a chance to perform and create. Well, it has to be mainly your best award, your best man as a musician. It needs to be make music, right? Like that's why we do it, because of the passion of the music. But it's also nice to share it with people. Keep it rocking. Keep doing what you love. And again, the first achievement, the first reward for that is to make music and feel that passion, and everything else will come.
Missed this year's event? Join your community in San Marcos or any city that is participating in next year's Make Music Day. This is Faith Lewis with Bobcat Update.
Could the sun be setting on Texas State's conference membership? If you know what I'm saying.
Oh, I get it. We can be packing to spend some time out west. So, are they just rumors, or is a big change in store for Bobcat sports?
I'm always a big fan of the courtyard in Taylor Murphy history, especially how chaotic the quad gets. You can always kind of just escape in there.
If you're looking for a new place to study next semester, we have some inspiration for you and some helpful resources.
But if you're like us and just about out of here, we'll share more details about a beloved graduation tradition.
Prescription drug pricing points to corporate
Freedom of the press is about your right to know. It's about your right to be informed. Today, there are real threats to press freedom and your right to know about the world around us. We must protect our right to know, no matter what kind of news is important to you. Before it's too late, understand the threats. ProtectPressFreedom.org.
This summer has seen seismic changes to college sports, and Texas State is part of that conversation.
Our reporters Jack Lysite and Jackson Cruz have more on a possible realignment of Bobcat athletics.
As the 2025 college football season approaches, the Texas State Bobcats find themselves in the midst of a potential athletic conference realignment from the Sun Belt to the Pac-12. We sat down with Texas State sports media professor Mark Meterson to discuss the potential move by the university.
It seems to be on the table. There is a tight deadline. Apparently, there's a buyout for their Sun Belt Conference commitment that would be $10 million, but it's a $5 million buyout if they do it by July 1. Now, I know from what I've seen online that the Texas State president, Kelly Damphouse, has posted some stuff on social media indicating, from what I can tell, that he wants this to happen.
As Texas State football coaches and President Damphouse seek to push forward on this move, University Star reporter Aiden Orenson spoke of this chance for the Bobcats.
I think it's a very huge thing that Texas State is just within this conversation just in general. Just because obviously after this is just like my first year at Texas State, so I'm still kind of like getting to know all that. But it doesn't take long to briefly look into the background of Texas State athletics as a whole and kind of see it's like, it's very obviously on the like up and coming. It's still wild because to me, I view this more as like a right place at the right time type of thing. I've always kind of viewed the Pac-12 Texas State rumors ever since they kind of started back in September of 2024 after that Sam Houston game. That was when that news first came out. I always kind of viewed it more as like the right place at the right time.
Meterson also spoke on the effect this primary football move could have on other sports at Texas State.
I think, as the saying goes, a rising tide lifts all ships. It's not just obviously football is the most visible program, but as we've seen, with baseball and the College World Series, softball and their World Series, volleyball, some of the largest attendance of sports over the last few years, including some of the television ratings, have been in women's volleyball. Texas State has a pretty strong women's volleyball team, a decent the softball team, they have a winning record. They have one of the better records of all of our scholarship teams this last season. I think it would be huge all the way around. And I have to think that all of our coaches, volleyball, baseball, softball, I just happen to feel like that everybody would like to play at a higher level.
If a deal does get done before July 1st, the effects would not go into effect until the fall of 2026. For Bobcat Update, I'm Jack Lysite.
If you're a student at Texas State, finding the right place to hit the books can make all the difference.
Whether you prefer peace and quiet or a spot with a view, reporter Hunter Michon takes us around campus to explore some of the top study spots and show us where you can get help when you need it.
At a campus as lively as Texas State, carving out a space to focus can make all the difference. From scenic views to quiet corners, students have discovered a variety of spots that help them stay on track. I got the chance to sit down with campus tour guide Colby Mitchell, who gave his take on the best study spot around campus.
So I find myself in the library a lot. I really like going on the 6th floor because I'm a big fan of the views, but I also like the silence of the 6th floor, the 5th and 6th floor, so I go there a lot.
As a tour guide, Mitchell knows Texas State like the back of his hand and said there are so many more hidden study spaces where you can find peace around campus.
I'm always a big fan of the courtyard in Taylor Murphy history, especially how chaotic the quad gets. You can always kind of just escape in there.
While Texas State offers students countless spaces to study, it also offers an abundance of resources for any student struggling to keep up with courses. Undergraduate admissions counselor Sam Aparicio hopes more students take advantage of these free resources.
Highly recommend making the most of all those resources, like use Slack, which is the tutoring center, right? Go to the library. I always encourage students, as soon as you know that you're struggling with class, don't wait till the mid-semester, the end of the semester, go right away. All these resources are available to students for free, right? They just need to go and ask and use them.
Furthermore, Aparicio says Texas State has resources for students beyond academics. He explained how the university offers job-seeking assistance through its career services and mental wellness support through its counseling center, all located in the LBJ Student Center 5th floor. For Bobcat Update, I'm Hunter Michon.
Hey Zane, you graduated in August like I do, right?
Heck yeah, you know I do, and we were just talking about this. We cannot wait to take part in a Bobcat tradition.
Grace Rayborn takes us to the San Marcos River to give us one last Texas State lesson, the river jump.
Tossing the cap, decorating with glitter and quotes, and walking stage. These are graduation traditions seen across the country. But at Texas State, there's one tradition that stands out from the rest. So, what makes Bobcat graduation truly unique? Texas State University is one of the few universities around the country that has a river, and students are well known to enjoy the river on a daily basis. But did you know that this river is also part of a graduation tradition?
The San Marcos River, always colder than you remember. It's a tradition with generations always celebrating with a swim.
Jumping in the river is a tradition that goes back at least 50 years. Every year after graduation, students jump in the river as part of their last goodbyes. Jumping in the river symbolizes accomplishment and the end of a chapter for the students. Dr. John Fleming, Dean of College of Fine Arts and Communication, explains the importance of a college tradition and what this tradition means for the students and faculty at Texas State.
And it's something that kind of cements students, faculty affiliation with an institution. And again, you can have a variety of different traditions, but I think it helps bond people together across generations. And again, obviously the river jump is kind of unique to us at Texas State. So I think important that, Texas State, we're still about 42% first generation students, 37% Pell Grant students, but that first generation, the first in the college, in the family to graduate. And I think that's why you will sometimes see, parents or other ones to jump into it, because it's not just the individual student's success, it's the family's success in the transformation on it. So that's why I think it's a cool, fun tradition.
Kendall Walsh, a previous alumni of 1995 at Texas State, talks about the memories that she made in the river.
Some people, when you ask them about it, they are like, oh yeah, I did that. And a lot of people don't even know that it was a tradition at all. I didn't do it. And now I'm going to be doing it soon with my daughter. We went to the river all the time. It wasn't as crowded as it is now by any means. And particularly in the summer when I was there in the 1990s, there weren't a lot of kids there in the summer, and there weren't even as many tourists as there are now. And it was actually kind of sadly quiet.
For Bobcat News, I'm Grace Rayborn.
That's our final summer edition for Bobcat Update. That's why we're here, joined by our classmates who are going to be graduating with us this year.
Thanks for joining us. And if you're a senior, we'll see you at the river. Eat 'em up, cats.